Hello and welcome. My name is Thomas, and in today's story, we are in the U.S. state of Oklahoma. Tulsa, Oklahoma, to be exact. The city is known for its architecture and is called home to over 400,000 people. In 1994, 22-year-old Danny Wood met a man who changes her life. She met him while working the drive-thru at a fast food restaurant. They were flirting back and forth, a couple of winks here and there, a couple extra packets of honey mustard. You don't know where that can lead you. He was older, but she had this feeling that he had his stuff together. He told Danny that he was married with 2 children, but that he was in the early stages of divorcing his wife, who had left him and their children. Danny didn't have an issue with him having children. She loved kids and hoped to one day have some of her own. She saw his potential. He was everything she was looking for, and he was crazy about her. No one ever treated her the way he did. Danny began dating Trisha Stemple, her drive-thru admirer. The relationship was like a fairy tale, picturesque. She can visualize Sean being the husband she always dreamed of, the father of her children. She saw an extremely bright future with him. A few cheeseburger dates later, and the relationship progresses, and Sean helps support Danny as they move into an apartment together. Months, in fact years pass, and everything's going great. That is, until Danny receives a phone call that will change her life and many others forever. Today's video is sponsored by the like button. That little thumbs up hand looking thing is at it again. Like button, get back in your cell. For real though, slapping the like button helps to get this video to more people like you, which allows me to make more and even better videos. While you're at it, why don't you punch the subscribe button too? In the morning hours of October 24th, 1996 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, on the side of Highway 75, the body of 30-year-old Trisha Stemple was found feet away from her car, which was pulled over on the shoulder with a flat tire. Trisha's husband had reported her missing overnight, just hours prior. She had left the house to go to the pharmacy to pick up medication as she had not been feeling well. She had not made it back home, and that is when Sean had reported her missing. The first officers on the scene believed that this was an auto pedestrian fatality, as in she was struck by a vehicle. When detectives arrived, they find Sean already at the scene. He had gone out looking for Trisha after reporting her missing. He ended up finding her car on the side of the highway. He pulled over near Trisha's car and found her motionless, bloodied, and ultimately deceased body. Detectives observed Sean's behavior at the scene, and during his statement, he spoke as though he was concerned, but showed very, if any, emotion. This was noted by the detectives as everyone reacts to traumatic events differently. Maybe he was in a state of shock. Trisha met Sean when she was 17. When he was a teenager, he had moved with his family to Tulsa from Ohio. He met Trisha soon after. She liked him a lot, and her family did as well. They seemed great together. Later on, Trisha had gotten pregnant. After discussing it with her parents, both Sean and Trisha wanted to get married and raise a family. From the outside, the marriage appeared to be going well. An autopsy was performed by a medical examiner, and the report states that the injuries to Trisha were not consistent with her being struck by a vehicle. Rather, she had been beaten to death with a blunt instrument. Trisha's death was ruled a homicide. Investigators searched the scene where Trisha was found, and not far away, they found a baseball bat. After Trisha's death was ruled a homicide, her family observed changes in Sean's behavior. He was acting erratically. He was never around, always away somewhere. We know, of course, he was with Danny, his mistress, or girlfriend now. I guess after your wife is killed, your mistress becomes your girlfriend. I'm not sure how the whole naming scheme works. Police informed Trisha's family that Sean was a suspect. Trisha's family did not believe that Sean was involved. They just flat out didn't want it to be him. None of them did. They thought he was a great guy. They believed that the detectives had the wrong person in their sights. Nevertheless, besides all of the good guy points he was scoring with the in-laws, detectives took a closer look at Sean. We're about 2 days into the investigation, and a witness reported seeing a red truck near Trisha's car the night she was killed. Soon after, a 16-year-old was arrested by police for brandishing a firearm. The teen happened to drive a red pickup truck. The name of that teen was Terry Hunt. He was a young street thug that detectives did not believe was capable of doing such a horrific crime. Based on the firearm and the red truck he was driving, detectives still questioned him about the murder of Trisha. After a few minutes of idle conversation, trying to build a rapport with Terry, detectives asked him if he knew of Trisha and her murder. He would say that he knew some things, here and there. Then he admitted to a little bit more involvement, and with a little bit more pressure, he told the full story. He said that Sean, Trisha's husband, offered him $25,000 to $50,000 if he would help kill his wife. They had been plotting this for a couple of weeks. The murder was originally supposed to take place on October 10th, 14 days prior to when it had occurred. Sean called it off because Trisha was sick and didn't want to leave the house. In the early morning hours of October 24th, Sean and Trisha entered Highway 75 in Trisha's car and headed towards the pharmacy. A few minutes into the trip, Sean said to Trisha that there was something wrong with the car. He pulled over to the side of the highway, popped the hood, and they both got out of the car. That is when it started. Terry Hunt emerged from the brush on the side of the road. He had a baseball bat in his hands. He came up behind Trisha and struck her multiple times in the back of the head. She fell to the ground as Terry continued to strike blow after blow. Sean came over. He believed that Trisha would be unconscious by this point, but she wasn't. So he grabbed the bat from Terry and began to strike Trisha with it. As she was being attacked, she tried to crawl away. Sean bent down and told her, "It's going to be okay, the ambulance is on the way." He then strikes her several more times. He beat her with the bat until he thought that she was dead. As he is delivering more hits, he's saying, "It's okay, honey, the ambulance is on the way." At some point, the tire on Trisha's car was deflated to help fit the narrative of her being struck while attempting to fix the tire. When they believed that they had finished her off, Sean and Terry fled the scene. After recounting the murder of Trisha, detectives asked Terry how he knew Sean. Terry said that his cousin is Sean's girlfriend. He was the cousin of Danny Wood. Danny had introduced Terry to Sean a few months prior. She had no idea what Sean and Terry had conspired to do. Detectives fully investigated if Danny was involved in the murder of Trisha. They did not find any evidence linking Danny to the murder. Detectives did a deep dive into the financials of Sean and Trisha in an attempt to determine a motive for the savage attack. Detectives found out that they had missed house payments, car payments, and that their electricity had been cut off. The one thing that was paid in full on time was, you guessed it, the life insurance. Sean was set to receive just under $1 million in the event of Trisha's death. Sean left his family in the dark and in the cold, but he still made sure to pay the life insurance premium every month. After gathering all of this evidence, detectives invite Sean down to the station to get his side of the story.
Sean's standpoint, I'm going, oh my God, I'm dead. Okay? So when you start asking me these questions, I don't know if I'm going to answer anything or not answer anything. My dad says, don't say a word. My mother and father-in-law said, don't say anything, just get an attorney. I don't know what the right thing to do.
Well, it's your prerogative. Like I say, you have a right to remain silent. The only thing you say couldn't would be used against you in court of law if you're charged.
Okay. I want to help, but I don't want to screw myself or my kids. Does that make sense?
Sean acted as though he was helping.
The whole situation. I feel as though I should have an attorney because of how ugly this looks on me. And my fear is, and again, you guys are doing your jobs. Don't care if I'm doing, don't care if I'm upset. I respect what you're doing, but I understand that you got to solve this and you got to go hungry. And I know how bad it looks on me. So my fear is that you guys are here, not on the witch hunt by saying that, but that you're here to prove I did it, not to fund. Does it make sense? But because we have a large insurance policy, and because I was having an affair, motive, whatever, okay? I'm the ass, I'm the bad guy. I'm gonna get an attorney. What do I do? There we go.
He had a hard time discussing anything other than himself. He didn't care that his wife was dead. He cared that he got caught and that the walls were closing in. After leaving the police station, Sean made the phone call to Danny. He informs her that his wife had been struck and killed in a hit-and-run accident on the highway. This was absolutely devastating news. Danny was shocked. She immediately thought of Sean's children. Detectives bring Danny down to the station for questioning. They ask about her and Sean's relationship. She tells them that she knew he was married, but he was in the process of getting divorced and wanted custody of the kids. Detectives then tell Danny the truth about Sean. They informed her that his wife Trisha had never left him and that there were no plans for a divorce. Danny realized that everything Sean had told her was a lie. This must have been truly shocking for her. She thought that he was the love of her life, her soulmate. On November 4th, 1996, Sean is arrested for the murder of Trisha Stemple. In 1997, Terry Hunt pled guilty to first-degree murder and was sentenced to life in prison. Sean went to trial, he was convicted of first-degree murder and was sentenced to death. On March 15, 2012, Sean was executed by lethal injection. This man took so much from so many. His kids grew up without a mother or a father. Trisha's family lost a daughter and a sister.